Buenos Aires. El puerto de Santa María del Buen Aire.
Ay, milonga de amor. Esta para vos.
Argentina. Buenos Aires.
Здесь будет открытие презентации, да?
Значит, можно проверить эти ящики. Так, лучше, конечно, через флешку на нашу презентацию, чтобы мы трансляцию. Что будет трансляция? Трансляция будет онлайн-трансляция. Онлайн-запись. Да. Хорошо,
Флешку
я сейчас попытаюсь.
Просто там у нас есть еще один такой, который не хочет отдавать флешку, а хочет показывать из своего компьютера.
Так, есть обычный код?
Есть один, по-моему.
Я могу такому.
Это что, двойной выход, да? Ну, супер. Это вообще мне нравится, да. Потому что вечная проблема.
Да.
Современной, новой. Так.
Argentina. Buenos Aires. El puerto de Santa María del Buen Aire.
coisa que existe é assim como a luz no coração. Mas pra fazer um samba com beleza é preciso um bocado de tristeza. É preciso um bocado de tristeza. Senão não se faz um samba, não. Fazer samba não é contar piada. Quem faz samba assim não é de nada. Um bom samba, uma forma de oração. Porque samba é tristeza que balança. A tristeza tem sempre uma esperança. A tristeza tem sempre uma esperança de um dia não ser mais triste, não. Põe um pouco de amor numa cadência e vai ver que ninguém no mundo vence a beleza que tem o samba, não. Porque o samba nasceu lá na Bahia. E se hoje ele é branco na poesia, se hoje ele é branco na poesia, ele é negro demais no coração. É melhor ser alegre que ser triste. Alegria é a melhor coisa que existe. É assim como a luz no coração. Põe um pouco de amor numa cadência pra ver que ninguém no mundo vence a beleza que tem o samba, não. Porque o samba nasceu lá na Bahia. Se hoje ele é branco na poesia, se hoje ele é branco na poesia, ele é negro demais no coração.
Walking to the sea, crowds of people wait for me. Seagulls scavenge, still I scream. Worries vanish within my dream. Left my soul there, down by the sea. I lost control here, living free. Left my soul there, down by the sea. I lost control here, living free. Fishing boats sail past the shore. No singing Mayday anymore. The sun is shining, the water's clear. Just you and I walk along the pier. Left my soul there, down by the sea. I lost control here, living free. Left my soul there, down by the sea. I lost control here, living free. A cool breeze flows, but mind the wasp. Some get stung, it's worth the cost. I'd love to stay. The city calls me home. More hassles, fuss, and lies on the phone. Left my soul there, down by the sea. I lost control here, living free. Left my soul there, down by the sea. I lost control here, living free. Left my soul there, down by the sea. I lost control here, living free. I left my soul there, down by the sea. I lost control here, living.
Раз. 1, 2, 3, 4. Один, два, раз. 1, 2, 3, раз. Один, раз. Раз. Раз, раз, два, три. Раз, два.
Здесь будет дренаж? Да, совершенно. Да.
Раз, раз.
Привет, тихо. Где остальные? Когда? Уже время без 20. Когда придут?
Они придут, они будут 11.
Ага, мне даже не успел заметить, что можно позвонить. Уже позвонил. Да. Да, да. Ну, пусть справится с собой. Ну, придумаем все. Пусть заранее только как-то так обозначится, хотя бы позвонить. И сегодня кто-то решил просто... Ну, сейчас вот я к 2 часам поеду на комитет, чтобы там, посмотрю, списки, наверное, уже готовы, значит, чтобы внести быстро коррективы. Давай я его просто внесу, значит, а там приедет, не приедет, пусть он сам решает. Ну, да, либо смс-ку звонит. Ну, то же самое. То есть в любом варианте нет, давай я его просто в список включу. Не забыть, а там пусть он решает. Ладно? Ну, давай.
Дальше. Это был стол.
Leave it here and I will bring
Okay,
it back
okay.
to you. Yes.
So, there is one Russia talk and in that there is one type.
Yes.
Yeah,
Яш, скинь, пожалуйста, для круглого стола. Побед? Они все уйдут же. Ну хорошо, ладно, все. I will give it to you. Yeah. Не торопись, все хорошо. Потом.
I'll just see.
Живую тем, что сюда, на массовку перед специально. Так, она все еще? Да, она все. Ссылка. Сейчас. Я не могу. А, она есть. Массовый создатель. Это как можно. Вот. А, да, он читает, не читает. Там 5 человек, 7 человек, 12. А как? Кто помнит? Там ник или месседж. Где здесь команда 200 человек, что ли? Где надо 50 людей? Если будет 50 на 25, мы вроде да. А мы выключим? Правильно, правильно. Просто да, если вдруг будет ходить, это заткнется, а это просто право-лево. Можно чуть-чуть вправо? Ну, поставь.
С камеры откинул камеру, не знаю, почему не могу ничего сделать. Там? Хотя бы раз, просто понимаешь, как только камеру сейчас откроешь, у нас вот эти экранные
мало ли
дырочки. Сейчас можно мне включить, но если нажмешь, они всплывут, потом пропадут. Пока ты будешь копаться, у нас все будет на экране. Она, грубо говоря, вот с этого экрана снимает картинку.
Там вроде можно меню настроить, называется. Супер HD. Я, может, тут приблизить, чтобы теперь не было видно. Приблизить.
Камеру?
Да.
Ну там, да, есть.
Сверху?
Да.
Может так, ну лучше, да?
Картинка есть.
I'm Alexander Barkovich, chair of program committee, and I asked Professor En&T-2019 to lead our first plenary meeting.
You want that now?
I ask you, of course, first of all, I give the meeting word to Professor Garichev, and then I said some few words, and then I'll ask Professor En&T-2019 to lead our meeting. Professor Garichev, your
Я очень коротко это будем рассматривать как некое приветственное слово участникам конференции от руководства нашего института. Ну, мы первую конференцию организовали, по-моему, в 2014 году, 5 лет назад, и это у нас уже пятая или шестая. Да, это у нас уже шестая конференция, и я просто вижу, что вот то начало и те заделы, которые мы в свое время сделали, они поддерживаются. Вот и Людмила Константиновна много приложила усилий для того, чтобы уважаемую аудиторию собрать. И Александр Викторович, руководитель программного комитета, я вот посмотрел вот эту вот программку, конечно, это все выглядит очень, очень солидно. И если вот все это пройдет в течение недели, ну, это будет большое, хорошее достижение вот на данный момент. Поэтому я пожелал бы от ректората плодотворной работы, обсуждения наиболее таких, я бы сказал, прорывных для нас научно-технических направлений и технологий, и просил бы все-таки более внимательно посмотреть те направления, которые сегодня являются на физтехе приоритетными, причем относятся к приоритету, первому приоритету. Конечно, то, что касается телекоммуникаций, это технология, так сказать, сквозная, ее можно относить к сквозной технологии, так оно и есть. Вот в наших нормативных документах она называется технология беспроводной связи, ну там и передачи данных. И ее применение многоплановое, но среди вот среди первых приоритетов физтеха, где реализуются хорошо финансированные программы, хорошо финансированные, это не задумки, не идеи, не фантазии, это те проекты, на которые из разных источников выделяются большие деньги. А я вам скажу, что по итогам 2018 года объем НИР и ОКР прикладных, выполненных физтехом по пришедшим деньгам, не проектам, а деньги, которые поступили в ПТИ, составил 3,2 миллиарда. То есть это на сегодняшний день равно образовательному бюджету. То есть физтех сегодня выполняет объем НИР и ОКР, равных образовательному бюджету. То есть мы настоящий национальный исследовательский университет. Плюс к этому еще 600 миллионов у нас фундаментальные научные исследования. В основном РНФ, РФФЕ и такие научные фонды. То есть мы сейчас становимся, ну действительно, помимо всего вот прочего, ну, приобретаем еще облик такой корпорации, которая интенсивно начала развиваться еще в рынок. И в стратегии физтеха вот это направление принято как ну, главное стратегическое. Мы должны стать университетом 3.0 в терминологии нашего министерства, где понимается, университет 1.0 это образование, университет 2.0 это образование плюс research development, то есть исследование, и 3.0 это когда образование, исследование и коммерциализация тех результатов, которые мы получаем. Причем мы должны стать университетом, вот в ближайшие 5 лет, университетом 3.0 мирового уровня. Вот мы, как университет 2.0, уже мирового уровня, мы входим в первую сотню, там некоторое количество рейтингов, а вот как 3.0 мы до мирового уровня сильно не дотягиваем. То есть объем наших услуг, продуктов и так далее, которые идут на внешние рынки, он микроскопический. Я просто могу сказать вам, из 3,2 миллиардов только 10 миллионов рублей. Ну, вот в рублевом эквиваленте. То есть у нас на мировом рынке нет. И вот за 5 лет мы должны там появиться с объемами хотя бы хотя бы в 15-20% от общего объема. То есть задача крупная. Где и какие технологии сегодня востребованы и хорошо оплачиваются? Ну, первая наша программа – это технологии для Арктики. Технологии для Арктики. Сюда включены проекты первоочередные. Это спутниковая связь и навигация. Второе – это автономная энергетика. А автономная энергетика – это и системы умного управления гибридными энергетическими комплексами. Это тоже телекоммуникационная, в том числе телекоммуникационная задача. И третье направление – это неотложная и экстремальная медицина. Вот 3 проекта идут. Дальше у нас идут проекты по Арктике. Навигационные системы для военно-морского флота, для комплексов. Дальше идут комплексы ледовой разведки на базе беспилотных летательных аппаратов вертолетного типа. Это тоже все финансируется. Дальше у нас идут по арктической программе системы контроля космического пространства. Вот Дмитрий Дмитриевич здесь присутствует, идет вместе с МакВинком. И, наконец, это освещение, мы называем освещение подводной обстановки. Это донные сейсмические косы, донные сейсмические станции, двойного назначения применения. Вот это направление арктической программы. Второе важное направление приоритетное, это относится к технологиям искусственного интеллекта. Мы выиграли конкурс, мы российский, мы обыграли на этом конкурсе с большим отрывом и МГУ, и ТМО, и мы на сегодняшний день получили бюджетное финансирование на развитие технологий искусственного интеллекта около 1 миллиарда рублей. Это уже по подписанным договорам. Около 1 миллиарда рублей на 19 и половину 2020 года, на 1,5 года, подчеркиваю. И и столько же мы привлекаем из других источников. То есть у нас программа по искусственному интеллекту на сегодняшний день, вот на 2 года, это около 2 миллиардов финансирования. Какие ключевые там направления? И тоже надо смотреть, Александр Викторович. Первое – это разговорный искусственный интеллект. Это вот, так сказать, это Греф называет болталка, говорилка и так далее. Здесь у нас мощно идет проект iPavlov со Сбербанком. И мы уже, выполнив наработки, сейчас создаем SPV, то есть отдельную спин-офф компанию, которая результаты вот этого проекта iPavlov потратили на него около 1,5 миллиардов на сегодняшний день. Ну, за минусом 100 миллионов, которые перейдут сейчас в SPV. То есть 400 миллионов на исследования и разработки, и 100 сейчас пойдет в уставной капитал SPV. И это уже пойдет в рынок. Вот, кстати, на недавнем там конференции по искусственному интеллекту Греф об этом лично говорит. Постоянно подчеркивается. Здесь же сейчас у нас Ашманов и Касперская начинают двигать очень мощный проект, называется «Сова». Там на других принципах строится, говорил, вот система искусственного интеллекта. Там другие подходы, там компьютерная лингвистика, там лингвисты будут размечать тексты. То есть вот это первое направление. Второе направление, очень для нас и для всех важное, в программе по искусственному интеллекту российской оно называется компьютерное зрение, мы называем техническое зрение. Техническое зрение это означает системы, которые видят не только в оптическом диапазоне, как человек, а это видят в инфракрасном диапазоне, это в других, в СВЧ-диапазоне. И это те системы, которые позволяют получать очень важную информацию о состоянии зондируемых объектов. Ну, одной из таких систем у нас по техническому зрению ведет работа как раз на факультете радиотехники и компьютерных технологий. Эту работу ведет группа Щелкунов и Гаврилов. Это обработка аэрокосмических снимков, это создание аппаратуры для съемки. Очень хорошо идет, очень хорошие отзывы. Вот они первый этап сдались. Вот. У нас система технического зрения будет размещена на беспилотном летательном аппарате вертолетного типа. Уже вертолет, уже машина, я ее называю телега, ну или платформа, то есть сам беспилотный вертолет, он готов. Мы заплатили за него на конкурсе за 70 миллионов рублей, Фистех заплатил, вот по программе. Мы сейчас на этот вертолет-беспилотник встраиваем полезную нагрузку, вот полезную нагрузку, включая 2 локатора X и C диапазона. И впервые мы вот этот комплекс продемонстрируем 24 декабря на заседании коллегии Министерства обороны, которое вот как бы годичное заседание, там делается выставка достижений к этому заседанию коллегии. И вот нас включили в качестве вот экспонатов на эту выставку. Система технического зрения. Следующее – это экспертная система. Экспертные системы в 3 областях. Первая область, наиболее важная для нас, для Engineering and Telecommunication, это проектирование сложных технических систем и комплексов. Идет работа, хорошо финансируется, финансирует ее концерн «Алмаз Антей». Это экспертная система для проектирования радиолокаторов. САПР, РЛС она идет. Это основное РТК, и с участием ФАЛТа идет работа. Второй тип экспертных систем – это экспертная система для управления разработкой месторождений углеводородов. Ну, сейчас мы говорим о нефтяных месторождениях, в автономном режиме, где экспертная система помогает бурильщику вот, правильно построить работу, исходя из тех реальных данных, которые он получает в процессе бурения, которые обрабатываются. Это все живьем демонстрируется вместе с «Газпромнефтью» нами в нашем офисе в Санкт-Петербурге. То есть это работающая такая вещь. Плюс идем дальше. Но это сложное месторождение или месторождение с трудноизвлекаемыми запасами, включая применение технологии гидроразрыва пласта в США. Это больше известно как разработка сланцевых месторождений. И, наконец, третья экспертная система – это поддержка принятия медицинских решений для медицины в 3 областях. Флюорография, маммография, кардио. Ну, здесь как бы пока больших успехов нет, но мы надеемся, что мы это получим. Итак, экспертная система. Итак, основные 3 позиции. Ну и, наконец, я это называю умные машины или умные системы управления разного рода комплексами. И здесь у нас головной проект – это проект по гибридным энергетическим установкам, куда входит дизель-генератор, ветряк, солнечная, накопители литиевые, накопители на водороде, топливные элементы, значит, газовые турбины малой мощности, или так называемые мини-газовые турбины. И умная система управления, вот, ну, это мини-смарт-грид, так это называется. Вот основной спектр работ по искусственному интеллекту. И, наконец, 3-я программа, которая тоже ориентирована серьезно в рынок. Она сейчас только формируется. Это программа нацеленная на решение задач геологоразведки природных ресурсов. Мы подписали очень мощное соглашение с новым руководством Росгеологии. Мы создали центр компетенции, лабораторию Геолаб. Мы сейчас эту с Росгеологией программу формируем. И, соответственно, значит, расставлены акценты и решается вопрос привлечения крупного финансирования развития этих работ. Задача очень простая. Вот за последние, там, не знаю, 30 лет, наверное, восполнение запасов природных ресурсов, находящихся на балансе ГКЗ в России, практически не было. Это все шло в освоение, восполнялось мало. Ну и, наконец-то, наше руководство озаботилось. Не получится ли так, что мы своему потомству вообще ничего не оставим? Вы знаете, саудиты уже прогноз сделали, что через 30 лет Россия уйдет с этого рынка. То есть настолько добыча упадет, что перестанет Россия играть ту роль, которую она сейчас играет. Саудиты саудитами, но своя голова тоже есть, и есть понимание, что надо наконец-то интенсифицировать эти работы, большее количество ресурсов туда. И когда новый руководитель Росгеологии смотрел, на кого бы здесь можно было положиться, именно в разработке новых методов, технологий, новой аппаратуры, новых подходов, он сюда приехал 6 мая вместе со всей новой командой. И мы ему сделали доклады, и он увидел, что из всех, кто в этой сфере трудится, физтех, пожалуй, выглядит наиболее сильно. Можете себе представить. И поэтому сразу было подписано не просто соглашение между нами и Росгеологией, а еще 7 июня еще третья сторона подписала соглашение. Это Российский фонд прямых инвестиций, это суверенный фонд, который возглавляет Дмитриев. Этот фонд, он, грубо говоря, он суверенный. Суверенность означает, что он не подчиняется никаким даже российским властям. И понятно, откуда деньги у этого фонда. Это деньги, которые привлекаются. И то, что такой проект пошел, было опубликовано 7 числа, и в том числе на сайте РФПИ, и мы сейчас готовим программу по развитию. Итак, если говорить о рынке, движении в рынок, то это то, о чем я вам, так сказать, рассказал. С точки зрения телекоммуникаций, по Северному морскому пути, по Арктическому региону, вопрос номер 1. Мы поставили абонентские пункты спутниковой связи, привязали к Мамалу, и на судах Норникель 6 судов имеет, возит свой товар, понятно откуда, в Роттердам. Мы прошли на судах Норникеля от Роттердама до моря Лаптевых, мы прошли с нашим оборудованием от Мурманска до моря Лаптевых на судне Росгеологии, и мы показали качество, которое мы обеспечиваем не связи, а интернет-доступ. И здесь 7 октября был министр связи Носков. Ему прямо вывели на экран 2 судов из моря Лаптева, из того и из другого. И он просто на картинке, на экране видел качество изображений, которое мы передаем через интернет, через спутниковые терминалы, которые мы вместе с нашими партнерами сделали. И там не только сделать терминалы, то есть нужно было еще организовать эту работу с судна. Там 2 терминала было на всякий случай, то есть был резервный, то есть мы не просто должны были в какой-то один конкретный период времени показать это качество, мы должны его продемонстрировать на всей трассе. И в случае чего использовать 2-й терминал. Более того, в случае чего использовать и 2-й спутник, то есть с Ямала прыгнуть на экспресс. И, кстати, пришлось это сделать, когда наше судно Норникелевское пошло в Роттердам. Потому что там на море качка, и спутник Ямал, вот перестал давать хороший сигнал, пришлось по ходу переключиться. Поэтому это все вот не так практически просто, организовать. Поэтому я вот вам назвал ту тематику, которая сегодня для нас приоритетна. И еще раз, я как вот этот пропагандист говорю, это все то, за что на сегодняшний день нам платят деньги, вот, и правда при этом требуют хорошего высококачественного результата. Я желаю успешной работы уважаемой конференции, уважаемым участникам этой конференции, ну и призываю к тому, что вот к следующей конференции, Александр Ильич, что вы как руководитель программного комитета вот структурировали бы еще вот в таком направлении, поискали разработки среди наших партнеров, среди наших ученых, вот по тем приоритетным прикладным позициям, о которых я сегодня сказал. Спасибо за внимание, хорошего дня, удачной работы. Спасибо.
Good afternoon for our English-speaking guests. I will retell the speech of Mr. Garchev, the Deputy Director of MIPT, in brief. From the head of the university, he wishes successful and fruitful work to the conference in the field of all the newest breakthrough and priority technologies. The objective of MIPT is to enter the top of the ratings of the University 3.0 of the world. What is University 3.0? University 1.0 is education, University 2.0 is research and development, and University 3.0 is the emission of the developed technologies to the market. So what are these priority technologies? The first part are the technologies for the Arctic. Satellite communication and navigation, autonomous energy production and storage, the emergency and extreme medical assistance, navigation for the Navy, the helicopter-based drone reconnaissance, and seabed seismic stations. The second important priority direction of technology development is the artificial intelligence, subdivided into the speech artificial intelligence, speech recognition and synthesizing, the computer vision for processing of aerospace photography, the computer vision systems for drones, for radars. One of the systems is to be demonstrated on 24th of December. The third direction of the artificial intelligence are the expert systems for design of complex technical systems for petroleum engineering, oil engineering, support of taking medical decisions, smart machines like hybrid energy generators and mini smart grids. The third direction is the geological investigation. MIPT has signed contracts with GeoLab and the Russian Foundation of Direct Investment. The telecommunications for Northern Seaway via the satellite. These three directions are the priority ones for our conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your assistance, and I'll try to spend very few time before the beginning of our work. So I also want to wish our conference fruitful work and good output for our ideas for research and development. So you I know that you understand that telecommunications is the basic, fundamental part of most of current technologies. So I think our conference, our work will be useful in future. And thank you very much. And I give the word to Professor Chimik.
It's okay? Okay. So it's a big honor to chair the session in this conference. I was in the beginning of the conference 5-6 years ago, and now it's really becomes the prestigious conferences. Many papers, many good publications, many different topics, and it's really good. So I invite you as a program committee member of the conference to submit the paper for the next conference and to present it. Okay, as a chair of the plenary session, so we have 4 talks. The talks are different, completely different topics. It's very good that you have the wide point of view. One it's about the security, one about the physical layers of security, radar history, and technology of digital TV and so on. So there are very famous professors. They will present their opinion. Unfortunately, that they are very short. It's a 20-25 minutes of presentation. It's difficult to give a very wide, detailed view, but still we will have sometimes to just point for discussions. If somebody interested in any topics which will be presented in 4 talks, just after that plenary session, so we could discuss with the people who presented. So my talk, it's I present the Mexico Research Center. The second talk with the Dalian University of Technology from the China. The Roland Hermann Rochling will present from Germany, University, Hamburg University of Technology, and the last will be from Tsinghua University in China. So it's a big geography points from different parts of the world will present their opinion about the state of the art. Okay, now I start my presentation. So I will talk about the cloud data storage. It's a part of the information security level, and I present the parallel computing laboratory in Mexico and laboratory of the problem-oriented cloud computing in South Ural University in Chelyabinsk, and from Ivannikov Institute of System Programming here in Moscow. So it's quite far, the Mexico. So you can see that the Mexico. I am from this part. It's close to San Diego. They name it Baja California Peninsula. So it's the city is Ensenada, a very touristic city, and the big research center of the city. This is the research center, and this is the view from my office. So, and I'd like to thank all my collaborators from different countries. So we collaborate intensively with 2 universities in Germany, in Luxembourg University. Here is the list of the Russian research center and universities, and from USA, from Uruguay, Colombia, from Tsinghua University, Spain, and France. So of course we should thank of our sponsors. Let's say we receive grants from Mexico, from US, from Germany, from Luxembourg, from France, from Latin America, Uruguay, and so on. And of course all my teams. Mostly it's a laboratory in Mexico. The teams, it's PhD and master students. So I'd like to thank you because they're very successful, and the result we publish in the top level of journals in the world. So it's a thanks of the supporting of all collaborators and the team. So the topic which I will present, this is a part of the general, very general topic. The name is Smart Everything Everywhere. So which include many topics, simulation modeling, analytics, and cyber physical system, Internet of Things, and cloud computing. You know that cloud computing, it's a very famous topic. It's a almost standard topic, and everybody knows that cloud computing. And now it's in museum. So this is a cloud in museum. So it's this guy, Dutch, he created clouds in museums. So it's almost standard technology now. So this is in Belgium, and the museum that cloud computing, let's say. So, but we will focus on a 5 level of security in Internet of Things. The lower level of security is security in sensors, the smart sensors, which need to process information inside, need to minimize energy consumption inside, to use a lightweight cryptography inside, because that nobody could substitute the sensor or get information from the sensor or change the transmitted signal to the fog computing. So of course protection of the transmission, the communication level should be done, and processing in a fog, and after that processing of the data storage in a cloud computing. So mostly we will talk now about the storage. Suppose we have very delicate information, so we need to keep somewhere, but you know that everybody knows that it should not be kept in one place, in one basket. So many dangerous people around that we should somehow to keep in different places. So the best way that everybody knows that don't store eggs in one basket. But how we can do it? The distributed storage system, it's very famous. It exists, I don't know, 100 or 1,000 of years, how to distribute your knowledge. So this is just some example of some computer system, some topology distributed, some technical, very interesting idea how to create a storage by layers. So it's typical for our apartments. But now that a stream of the distributed data storage go to the clouds, so the storage as a service. So here is the list of the, I don't know how many, 30 very popular data storages. Everybody used Dropbox, Google Drive, iCloud, whatever. I use 5 of them in my computer because I can take some spaces for the free, and I have plenty of space. And we exchange, using these storages, we exchange files and information and paper with all our collaborating all around the world, and we contribute it, and it's a very good idea to keep it. But it's a good idea to keep the cloud storage because of the cost efficiency, accessibility. You know that why they name it cloud computing. Because only clouds you can see in all around the world. So always you see clouds. You don't know what's inside, what out the cloud, but it's you know that clouds. So efficiency, access to space efficiency, backup, resource sharing, and scalability, it's very good advantages. But unfortunately, there are many problems. The first, you don't know where is the data. So you know that somebody has your data, but can you trust it or no? You don't know. So it's happened already that some providers, they went out of the business, and the people can lost information. So internet connection, so it's the issue. Suppose that some errors appear in transmission. So what we can do? How we can keep reliable information? The speed, the different point of failure, complexity, and non-stationarity when you don't know actually that behavior, parameters of the behavior of the cloud storage. And the most important, it's not trusted environment, and it's not secure. Everybody declare. Of course, as I'm a researcher, so I keep my research paper there in the cloud, and thinking, okay, if they steal my paper, it's very good, so I will get more citation to the paper. But the big these are players who never use it because it's not secure. In many countries, it's by law, it's prohibited to keep the information out of the country in the cloud because nobody knows where is the cloud. I use a Dropbox, but I don't know in what country, in what server, in what city, where the information is stored. Okay, so here it's a standard requirements for the security. Standard requirements for security confidentially, so that nobody can see the paper, nobody can read the paper or information. Integrity, nobody can change it. Privacy, it should be not accessible for the public. And scalability, it's very important because if I provide a very secured way for 1 terabyte, but how I can provide secured way for the million of terabytes? So, and there are some solutions, it's almost standard solution, many research and real implementation exist. Of course, everybody knows that encryption, different types, symmetric, asymmetric, digital signatures, hash to detect the errors. And we concentrate on these secret sharing schemes I explained and residual number system. And right now we are start working in homomorphic encryption, so processing of encrypted information. In the same time, we must to consider reliability, because when the information is changed, it does not matter. It's because of the cyber attacks or because of technical failures. If I lose some information, it does not matter. Here, it's the environmental threats, so it could happen. Now, every country, when they put data centers, they distribute data centers. Usually it's 3 copies, replicas, 3 of them, and they put in different position in the country that we are separated by electricity system. If something happened in electricity system, another data center will work. With the water systems, if the floods or whatever, in another part of the will not happen. So probability that it will happen in all of them are very low. So this one is a standard technique now for the creation of the data centers. But of course it could be hacker attacks, it could be errors or spams or some misunderstanding of the user or technical supporting and so on. And the solution is typical, it's a replication, very costly solution. If I have 1 disk and I must to buy the 2 more extra, it's fine. But if I have 2 million of disks, to buy the 3 million of disks, it's very costly. So now the solutions shifted to another place. I will explain right now. But of course there are many of the different approaches how to detect errors and how to correct them without replication. Of course it's increased information and so on, redundancy exists, but still it's a less costly approach, and we concentrate on this one. So uncertainty which we should take into account, this is the different types of attacks. We don't know the motives, strategies, the impacts, location, the speed of operation, and many of these we don't know. So we cannot create just one mechanism of protection of information, because so many impacts and so many sources of these changes that we need to adapt it. So that we propose some idea how we adapt for the unstable system, which is a cloud, it's completely unstable, and still we optimize the behavior and protect it. Of course, attackers are different, so that simple like a hobby, or the students who make their resume, that CV, so they crack the system and after they send to the company, okay, so I want to have a job in your company and I protect you. So this one, but unfortunately exists many in other levels, in a professional, so it's very famous. And so you need to protect information based on a very heavy attacks. The new problem appeared last years in a cloud storage provider. It's so-called the security collusion. So if we even distribute information in different places, people with the legal access, insiders, with legal access to the information can steal your data. So we need to protect from this, that no provider will access, or if they have access to my data, they will not understand what the data is. So we need to protect from this point of view. Even if some of them, they will steal some pieces, and they sit together trying to understand your information and open, they will not be able to do it. So we need to create a mechanism for doing it. So now the general idea that we have some information, we somehow divide in the pieces and to allocate in the clouds. There are many standard techniques how we divide in the pieces. So here it's a list of the different approaches. We concentrate more, it's based in a residual number system in a Chinese reminder theorem. But there are several of them. I don't have time to go inside, but residual number system, it's very simple to understand, general idea. So we have the information, we have some modulus, usually it's the prime numbers, and we divide this information over this moduli, and we get residual of this. So we convert one number to in this example, 6 numbers. But, and of course we can keep in different spaces, in clouds or distributed, whatever, and we are able to recover information based on a less number of pieces. But it's not easy, because we need to get a parameter of the system to protect information. For instance, here, you take the image and you convert to residual number system, but still you get some information. You don't have details, but you can get some ideas what's inside. This is quite bad. So it means that you have to get special properties of the modules, special property of the division, and so on, to protect from this. But the problem is how to select parameters of the storage and how many storages should be used and so on. Many ideas exist. The first, so you take information, you can divide into 4 pieces, download for 4 clouds, and after that use 3 of them to recover information. We can divide in 8 pieces, and each cloud the 2 pieces, and after that recover. We can divide in different sizes, depend on the parameter. For instance, faster cloud will get a bigger or more reliable, more secured cloud will get bigger part, and so on. And we can get many of the pieces, small pieces, allocate different number of pieces. All of them have different properties. So we need to understand what's the property and what configuration we need. So another idea, it's at the 2 levels. So first we divide, for instance, here in 3 pieces with coding, of course. And after that, already coded information, we apply the same idea and we divide for the 9 and distribute somehow between the cloud. It has some extra properties, we can recover more information and so on. But how to select clouds? The first, can you see the speeds? We measure speeds. We send some request for the cloud and we measure speeds and difference between the first one and the last one, 100 of times. Can you imagine the speed of cloud providers? They're different in 100 of times. So we need to choose what cloud we choose. And speed per price, it's different priorities. So for instance, this speed per price, Dropbox, it's in the first position. But in absolute speed, Dropbox is not on here. So, but reliability, there is a company which already during the many years, they name it Harmony, measure statistics of the cloud provider. So they ask the service and they measure time of access or no access. Can you measure, so, and this one, in the 30 days, 83% availability. So it's a huge hours, it's not accessible. And here it's, for instance, this one, it's a 0. So it's a big difference, hours or seconds during the 30 days. So now we have some, suppose we have upload speed, download speed, and probability of error or no access. So somehow we need to solve the multi-criteria problem to upload some information in the clouds. And of course, we suggest, because everything is changed, it's very unstable system. We measure time for the same cloud, it's a big variation of the minimum and maximum, for instance, speed. And we implement a mechanism of dynamic adaptation for the current situation. And of course, we can recover information based on LS. And we provide a lot of experimental analysis and redundancy. It's how much you pay extra for this case. It's much less than replication, but still redundancy, it's a cost. And according to the coding speed, depend on the parameter of the system, you can see that it's not easy to find one solution. And if the parameter changes, so we need to adapt immediately in dynamic way. So here it's an optimistic and pessimistic approaches. So we are creating a system based on computational intelligence, and we get all parameters in the cloud, current parameters, and the system will adapt settings, use different objective preference. For instance, the user can say, for me the security it's more important, and in some point, okay, for me speed is important, and the system will provide a configuration. And of course, we apply different techniques. This gives a very good solutions. It's a multi-objective cellular algorithm. So, and of course, it's a multi-objective, so we need to compare Pareto. There are many quality indicators, and some result we measure for the real systems, and so on. So finally, it's a conclusion. So we provide adaptive, reconfigurable system, which is, I believe, that protect the system in a more clever way than a standard fixed protection approach. And we are trying to improve the coding decoding and new method of detection and so on. Okay, thank you. Questions? So this is the Ensenada. It's in Mexico. It's a very touristic place.
And the Soviet flag?
Yes, and that's not so Mexican. It's one of the biggest. They like it. So, and this is of course the some from Mexico. Everybody knows probably the Frida Kahlo, her paintings. And this one is a dish. It's chicken with the chocolate, with spicy chocolate. So very famous.
Hello, my name is Roman Kulikov. I'm from Moscow Power Engineering Institute. The topic you talk us is was considered in a very deep mode by militaries before. Have you considered their results, and have you some connections with military results for such distributed structures for data storage and data communication?
No.
Thank you.
Because our objective is completely different. Our objective is to publish paper. So it means that almost no open access to this information. If you provide the open access of the military results which they implement inside their system, I will be glad, and we compare with our results. It will be perfect paper.
Thank you.
If you want to ask question in Russian, so it's okay. I will translate for our guest to English, and we can discuss. No questions?
Какие возможности вы используете для верификации информации из разных источников, когда вы технологии применяете?
What kind of the question is about what kind of algorithm we use for verification? Is it correct or not correct from when we use in different sources? Здесь я рассказывал только об одном механизме проверки, основанной на китайской теореме об остатках. То есть мы кодируем информацию в модулярной арифметике, и основываясь на свойствах модулярной арифметики, мы определяем, есть ли там ошибка или нет. Но определить, что есть ошибка или нет, есть очень много методов. Ну, например, вот здесь я упомянул хэш-функцию. Там можно, или свертка, самая обычная свертка, которая используется абсолютно везде. Но проблема в том, что надо не только определить, что есть ошибка, но и ее исправить. Поэтому можно использовать разные техники, вплоть до блокчейнов, которые определяют, что есть ошибка. В стандартных блокчейнах информация очень маленькая, транзакции, и они по большинству правят ее. Здесь можно только определить, что есть ошибка, и другими методами, в частности, используя модулярную арифметику, можно восстановить информацию.
Есть еще другая проблема. Вот, фейки, которые просто противоречат. Одна информация противоречит другой. По смыслу.
Да, значит, мы совсем в другой области. Я, как пользователь, храню информацию. То есть я считаю, что там фейков нет. То есть когда я читаю, я могу определить, что кто-то изменил, кто-то стер, кто-то вмешался. Тогда я прав. Ну, то есть это немножко другая область, там это не анализ глобальной информации, а определение статистических отклонений от объективной информации или нет, чтобы определить, фейк это или нет.
Но компьютер это проще может сделать, чем вы читаете.
Так вот у нас все компьютер делает. У нас только алгоритмы делают, потому что невозможно все это сделать человеку. Идея простая, то есть как в дропбоксе, там папочка есть, мы кладем файл, он синхронизируется в облака и во все компьютеры. Здесь можно положить файл в папку, тут же она закодируется, разобьется на кусочки, разошлется на все облака, сотрется информация и будет храниться только заголовок. В случае, если мне нужна информация, я кликаю, и система собирает из кусочков и восстанавливает, если нужно, информацию исходную. Yes.
I use theory from Indian Institute of Information Technology, Lahore. My question is that, data has a hierarchy. So data cannot be considered all data as equivalent. In such a case, storing it and from the viewpoint of security, how do you maintain that hierarchy?
Okay, very interesting question. Here in my talk we don't do it. So we consider information as a piece, as just one file. The piece of information, and we provide mechanism how to store it, how to recover, and so on. But hierarchy of information we don't consider here. But it could be.
Professor, when you say that well, I'm from India, I'm from the same India.
Yes.
When you say that you want to store some data, and you say that we can fragment it and store, so don't you think that blockchain will be a good solution to?
Yes, exactly. Even we don't implement it yet, but we have idea how to do it. But blockchain, because in a blockchain, standard blockchain, there is no memory. There is a small the piece inside the transaction, let's say, information. But we want to put a pointer to the huge file.
So it will tell that where you are storing what. So that
Yes, exactly. But we use a blockchain to detection that something changed. For instance, we keep a hash function inside. Based on this, we can detect are there changes or not. If there exist, we eliminate this piece of memory completely, and we recover based on the another.
And one more question: like, what is the fitness function you have used for your generative algorithm?
Here we have multi-criteria analysis, so it means that fitness, it's in general, it's a Pareto. The Pareto optimal. No, it's approximation to Pareto based on analysis. And we use a different, let's say, metrics of the comparison of the quality of the solution, and we choose. But we don't choose a specific solution. We apply this artificial intelligence or whatever mechanism to provide users some suggested what's the best parameters they need. And if I can change my criteria as a user, so I can select one solution. But we, for the general research, we apply the Pareto. Какие-то вопросы еще есть? Okay, so thank you very much. So now we continue with the second presentation. The Professor Jin-Min Lu from Dalian University of Technology, China.
Thank you for your kind introduction. My name is Minglu Ji, a professor from Dalian University of Technology. It's my great honor have been invited to give this presentation. I will introduce the lessons, advantages, and the future work related to the topic of interference benefits for physical layer secrets. Everything has two sides. One is good, one is bad. The same is as for interference. For communication system, we want to cancel out the interference, but sometimes the interference can be used for another purpose. For example, secrets. Yeah. The presentation includes 5 parts. First is the introduction with the basic concepts and technologies, and then we introduce interference-assisted secret communications, and then we introduce our work in the interference-enabled PRIs strategies, and they give some open issues and the future workers, and finally conclude these presentations. Okay, next slide. Okay, let's begin with the introduction. Next slide, please. You know, as the advent of 5G era, there have been many new wireless scenarios. For example, M2M communications, D2T communications, V2V communications, and UAV communications, and other many wireless shared networks. So, for the people in the future, we rely heavily on wireless networks to transmit important or confidential messages. Okay, next slide. However, wireless communications becomes vulnerable for the security communications due to its openness physical channel. So traditionally, we have cryptographic techniques to combat the eavesdropping. But now the wireless networks, for example IoT, we have a very simple, very limited computational power for endpoint, and the network is hot network. It's not its infrastructure fixed. So the traditional crypto technology we cannot use the traditional cryptographic technology because of their so complexity and it's intractable in secret key distributions. So there comes the physical layer secret. It aims to safeguard the secret transmissions using the physical characteristics of wireless channels. And it has some advantages. For example, it does not rely on computational complexity and relatively simple operations and is suitable for flexible wireless scenarios. Next slide, please. Okay, the story of secret communications starts from Xiang Lun, his famous paper titled Communication Theory of Security Systems. In that paper, he used the entropy to describe the secret transmission of information. In 1975, Wiener, he proposed another type of secret communications. Its name is wiretap channel, as like this, and he defined the security capacity like this. This means is main capacity, and this means is eavesdropping capacity, and the difference is defined as security capacity. And for this reason, and there are many researchers have studied the physical layer security communications, and it can be divided in these groups. First is artificial noise-added secrets. Second is secret-oriented beamforming and cooperative relay or Java studies, and white-tabbed code design, and physical layer secret key generations. And the red items is focused in these presentations. Next slide, please. I will introduce some security issues on 5G applications. The first is massive MIMO system. We know massive MIMO system is a high technology for 5G applications, and its server have some pros. For example, it's a very narrow beam. It can decrease the information leakage. Also, with massive antenna, it's sufficient species degrees of freedom, so it's easily render artificial noise-added scams and secure beamforming design. But the system itself has some problem. For example, the pilot container machine. Also, it's pilot container machine attacked. So many scams to study this scenario. Okay. Another scenario is a millimeter wave communication system. You know that this is also key technology for 5G. And for this, this is the given the white-tapped channel module in 5G millimeter wave small cell networks. Because of millimeter wave communications, it also have massive antennas. So the problem with the massive MIMO also occurred in this scenario more because of plenty of propagation passes makes it difficult to estimate the channel metrics. So it degrades the secrecy performance. And this figure shows some the performance simulation results, and we can see with the channel estimation error, the secrecy connectivity probability is decreased, as you know. The third one is normal systems. Normal system is also key technology for 5G communications, and it uses the power domain to increase spectral efficiency. For example, in this way, and there is a near base stations, it's far away base stations, and in normal systems, the key technology is SIC, successive interface cancellations. So if there are one errors inside the system, it's easy to use the techniques to threat the secret information transmissions. So there are two things we take care of. One is the cause. For the internal area, the SSL retriever increases the leakage risk of users' privacy. So, and another is also inter-user interference. From communication perspective, we want to cancel out the interference, but from secret communications, we want use the interference, so it can be ephemeral to confuse the eavesdroppers. And there are some perspective on this cons and pros. Okay, then I briefly give instructions, the interference assisted secure communications. We know interference is limited to the communication capacity, but if we think of the physical layer, the interference we can be used the combat the eavesdropping capacity. One is an example. For example, T2 as one cooperative jammer transmits the jammer signal. Also, the jammer signal interference for this receiver. But we want the jammer signal, through the jammer signal, we want to increase the security capacity. And for this, when the jammer signal is worked as a jammer, or it may be silent, so we can get the two kind of security capacity like this. And in this simple example, if the H2 less than G2, then we can see this can be exceed CS. That means we can increase the security capacity. So for security, interference can be beneficial when the attenuation of the eavesdropping channel cost is worse than that of legitimate channel. So we want to use the interference to increase the security capacity. For interference assistance, they have three kinds of techniques. One is artificial noise added sequence as like this. One is the cooperative jammer or relay as like this. One is interface user interference. All these have their own scenarios and advantage and disadvantage. But for communication system, we want to manage the interference. So all of them, very important thing is the interference management. For interference management, there are some techniques. For example, interference alignment and the successive interference cancellations, then resource allocations and beamforming optimizes. This talk we focused on interference assignment. What is interference alignment? This figure shows the interference alignment networks with 3 users. We take the receive 1, for example. At receive 1, if there are no interference alignment, the received signal can be expressed as like this. We can think of it as vector, but we properly design some pre-coding for this transmitter. Then we can get the received signal as like this. This one is original. We wanted signal, and the other interference signal become arranged as like this. So we can also use the decoding matrix like this. We use unique selection. We project the received signal because of the 2 signals is orthogonal, so we can cancel the interference certificately. Then the system becomes interference-free communication system. But you can see they have some problem also with these techniques. We can see this length after projection have shortened. That meaning the SNR is decreased. This is another problem inside the system. Okay, next time I will introduce the work have done in our laboratory, and we give 3 scenarios. And the first is artificial noise added sequence systems. We use interference alignment technology in this system. And in this system, there are 1 eavesdropper. And the eavesdropper also have multiple antenna. So, we want to do is, because of the received signal for legitimate receiver can be expressed like this is desired signal, this is interference, this is artificial noise. Also, the intercepted signal by the eavesdropper can be expressed as like this. And the problem is how can interference alignment improve the sequence capacity. For this, we design the pre-code for the transmitter appropriately, and also design the decoding matrix properly. We can cancel out the interference and the artificial noise as like this. For this, we can assume the eavesdropper also have very powerful capability, so it can cancel out other interference. But if he want to select 1 user, it cannot cancel out the artificial noise generated by this transmitter. So the whole sequence select, sequence length or sequence capacity we can do is decrease the eavesdropping capacity and increase security capacity by this artificial noise added signal network. And we have for this to do, there has because this all multi-antenna, there need some conditions we can deduct as like this specify this condition. Also for 040F specify this condition, and this is give the simulation results, and this is the transmit rate for user, legitimate user. This is absorbing capacity. We can see the absorbing is very low, but the transmitted capacity increase with SNR for legitimate user. And this is also express the simulation results. But we use artificial noise can decrease the absorbing capacity. But there are other problems because for 5G communication system, one point we consider is energy efficiency. Yeah, you use the or you get up the artificial noise power, you can decrease or you increase circuit capacity, but it's waste energy. So in our work, we considered the energy split at the receiver, One part used is detection, one part is energy harvesting. So this law indicates the coefficient of energy splitter, and we can think of its SNRI and its harvesting power. And more interesting, we think of its optimization, and the optimization module can be expressed as like this. We aim to allocate the transmitted power to AN as much as possible, but we want to satisfy the minimal net requirements. This is the minimal net requirements, and energy harvesting constraints as like this. So for this we can solve it, and we got this. Also we have simulation show the valid the proposed scheme, and we can see after the optimization allocations, the absorbing capacity is almost very low, close to zero. And but we wanted the transmission rate is constant. Also, you wanted the energy is constant. The second scenario is we think of cognitive radio networks. In this scenario, the primary user have a single antenna, but the secondary user have a multi-antenna. So in this system, we want generally the secondary user is not interrupt the primary user communications. So for secret communications, in this scenario, we want the motivation comes from when the interference caused by ICU user, second user, properly designed, the ICUs can serve as friendly jammers to guarantee the secure transmissions of. You want to guarantee the secure transmissions, and as a reward, PU will share the same spectrum with the ICU. So there are two objectives, or there are two goals. One is safeguard the secure transmissions of the primary user, safeguard the secure transmission of primary user, and guarantee the reliable transmission of secondary user in this secondary user. To achieve these two goals, we used the optimize their precoding and decoding vectors to manage the interference caused by the ICUs. And there are two schemes to do this. One is the optimal transfer design scheme. It's maximize the sum transmission rate of SUs while guaranteeing the security rate requirements of PU. Another is interference alignment-based scan. This removes the inter-user interference between legitimate users, whereas the average towards PU, still average toward PU is still be disturbed. And this two scheme can be modeled as like this mathematically, this module, and we can solve this optimization problem for precoding code and decoding code. This is the sign. And there comes the simulation results. From this we can see when the transmitted power is high enough and the antennas are adequate, IA-based scheme can provide higher security length for PU from the user, while the OTT scheme can achieve higher transmission length of second user with the security length requirement of PU satisfied. In this figure you can see this is the second, the transmission length is more than OTT is more than the IA-based scheme, but for security capacity is IA-based is more than the OAT-based scheme. Okay, the third scenario in our laboratory have done is jamming gated secret schemes. This is also in normal system. We know normal system is high technology in 5G, and in system we suppose the edge user is far away from base station, so the connection is very poor. So we need one relay to do the transmission of information. But for this system, if there exceeds the eavesdropper, then this system also, the eavesdropper also uses the system principle to select the information transmissions. So for this, we proposed a full duplex relay and two-stage jamming scheme is proposed. And the first, in transmissions, first, the base station transmitted the superimposed signal from the base station to U1 to relay and to eavesdroppers. But meanwhile, the FT relay also transmit the signal, but in this time, relay do not transmit the signal, but jammer also to ever U2 and U1. The first stage, and you can think of eliminating the jamming signal, and we have to, from zero forcing technology, have to satisfy the equations. So for U1, can use the successive interface cancellations to get information. At the second stage, the relay transmit U2 information. But in this time, the base station do not transmit information signal, but jammer. So the jammer can be reached ever or relay or U1, but by using the previously described technology, we can cancel out the jammer in relay and U1. So by this, the transmission letter for U2 can be, we find can be reached this limit, and for U2, it's, the capacity can be reached this capacity. And in this scenario, we use the simulation to check out the secret outage probability. It's defined the secret capacity less than some given threshold. So we call it its secret outage probability, and we have run some simulations. we have C norma system with IFD JAMA. Its secret coverage of probability, outing probability is very low. But the OMA means orthogonal multimedia access orthogonal. This is a non-orthogonal multiple access. So we can see the norma with the FD JAMA is really decrease the secret outing probability than OMA-based scan. Also, this figure shows the same results. Okay, I give some issue and some maybe the future workers. In our study or other research study, when we design the precoding and decoding matrix, there are one assumptions, and the assumption is very ideal. We assume the perfect instantaneous CSI for legitimate channels. Also, the perfect instantaneous CSI for both legitimate and absorbing channels. You know, in practice, it's impossible. So, there are some problems. With the inaccurate channel expectations, the secret performance is decreased. So this makes the performance of interpreted secret scams severely compromised. So what to do? It's very interesting. We think of robust secure beamforming. Robust with water, with imperfect CSA module, robust beamforming, and we can use static CSI plus resource allocation method. Also, we can take more advanced channel estimate technology. Maybe we can the more very interested deep learning based CE. This is one issue. Imperfect channel state information. Another is the energy efficiency. For 5G applications, very efficient way is we use the artificial noise. And we previously see the artificial noise power is increased. The secret also guaranteed. But with the increased artificial noise, it's waste energy. So for 5G system, the energy efficiency is a very important parameter. So for this system, we can think of simultaneous wireless information and power transmission protocol, and then we can combine with the physical layer secrets. So harvest AN jamming, sharp interference relay, and achieve energy recycling is a very interesting topic. And another, because of the 5G, we use the heterogeneous networks. There are many kinds of. For this networks, they introduce severe cross-tied interference. You can think of alternate spectrum allocations, but it's very low space efficiency. You also can think of secure beamforming, but it's intractable CSA question, and it's an NP hard problem. And you also think of resource allocations, but it's a limited system throughput. It's a non-convex optimal problem. It's very hard to solve it. So, how to manage the inter or intra-tied interference to assist the secure transmission is a challenging issue. Okay, so in my presentations, we covered this topic, and the future is imperfect channel state information and energy efficiency, and the PRC in heterogeneous networks is very interesting work to do. And this week, supported by Professor Nan Zhou and my student, Dr. Yang Chao from our university, and this is left us. And our work is from 7, 8, 9, 10. You can find multi-carried thing from this paper. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So, thank you for the interesting talk. If you have some questions in English or in Russian, какие-то вопросы есть? Okay, no? Nobody understand anything? Yes. Okay, this is a really complicated problem, but you can discuss, the professor will be here today and tomorrow, so we can discuss it. So let's thank you again for the... So, now we invite the third... Now we invite the third speaker, the Professor Dr. Herman Brocklin from Hamburg University of Technology.
Thank you so much.
You can take this one, and this is the control.
Good. Good morning. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure to be here in Moscow and to talk to you and to learn from your side. It is a very good idea to establish this conference. I'm deeply impressed.
Because it's the transmission to the web, and they will not hear. Please, if you want to...
It's okay, мы в трансляцию.
It's okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
В трансляцию отсюда взяли звук.
So what did I say? It's a very good idea to organize such a conference, and I'm deeply impressed about the educational topic, because you focus much more than we do in Germany the deep learning in physics and in mathematics and statistics. That is a good way, and I just can congratulate you. My topic today is radar. So we have in all cases wireless discussions, but in communications and in radar it is different, but many similarities. So it's worthy to look back to the history of wireless systems. So, and I would like to focus on 24 and 79 gigahertz radar systems, radar for automotive applications. We are talking about autonomous driving, and it seems to be a dream. However, we will get the reality in the next 10 years, and for that reason we need high powerful sensors, which gives us certain information to drive securely in a normal road situation. Let's go back to wireless system in general. This guy, James Clerk Maxwell, and the students like the Maxwell equations so much, invented wireless systems on a theoretical basis. And Heinrich Hertz from Germany validated this, and when it was clear that there are electromagnetic waves available, then a storm of applications came. One contribution from Alexander Stepanovich Popov from St. Petersburg, was an excellent communication expert, and Marconi established the first transmission between Europe from Cornwall in England to Halifax in
Canada, Neufundland. So that was a sensation for the communication topics, because people did not have to wait until a big ship is coming from New York or going from Southampton to New York and bring some news. No, without any delays, the information was there. Delayless communication, so the stock market situation could be analyzed immediately and orders could be taken quickly. There's another guy, Christian Hülsmeyer. He invented, based on the knowledge of wireless communication systems, he invented the first radar. It is not true that in the 1930s the radar has been invented. No, already in 1904. Christian Hülsmeyer is the inventor. And this is Heinrich Hertz. And then we learned yesterday with a tour, with a guided tour about history. And we see in 1871 there was a Russian Empire, direct neighbor of Prussia, of Germany. And this is another guy, Ferdinand Braun. I mention it because he together with Marconi have got the Nobel Prize in 1909. It's just 110 years ago. So and this is a radar patent. And you see it directly from the image. And the image can say more than 1,000 words or sentences. You see immediately what happens here. There's one chip transmitting a signal, and the reflection is analyzed and is used for collision avoidance situations. That was a big success, and it has been demonstrated in Rotterdam and so forth. And for sure, Christian Hülsmeyer did not name his patent radar, but telemobiloscope. That means that was a tradition to have new technical devices named by Latin or by Greek words. So telecommunication is just a combination between this. And for sure, Hülsmeyer also here some photos from the German Museum in Munich. You can see it when you travel to Germany. Hülsmeyer would like to make money with this beautiful idea. And he applied his patent to a German company, Gesellschaft für drahtlose Telegrafie, the later Telefunken and AEG company. And they wrote back that it is a beautiful idea, however, they do not see any applications for this one. So that was a little bit disappointing for Hülsmeyer. However, the company was wrong, because there was an application needed in collision avoidance between ships. And in April 1912, the Titanic disaster happened. On the 14th of April, the Titanic sank. If this ship was equipped with telemobiloscope technology, nobody would know the name Titanic anymore. So let me come back to my career. I explain you briefly what I have in my mind. I started my career after my study in Ulm. It's a research center of Telefunken. I mentioned this because I did not learn about radar at university. I learned about radar in industrial company. And for sure, the topics at that time was moving target detection, the digital revolution, air traffic control, vessel traffic control, and topics like this. Then I after 11 years, I moved to Braunschweig, which is, by the way, the oldest technical university in Germany, founded in 1745. You see a long tradition, more than 250 years. And I transferred all my knowledge from radar to the university and established a research institute or research group for radar systems. And after exactly 11 years, I moved to Hamburg, which is, by the way, the youngest technical university, just founded 30 years ago. It was an interesting step from the oldest to the youngest university, technical university. At all time, I had good advisors in my background, because in Ulm, this is the birthplace of Albert Einstein. He was born there. And in Braunschweig is the birthplace of an important mathematician, Carl Friedrich Gauss, Gaussian noise. And by the way, Gauss was announced to be the head of the observatory here in Russia, in St. Petersburg, but at that time Napoleon destroyed these plans. That was a different story. So there is Carl Friedrich Gauss, and Hamburg is the birthplace of Heinrich Hertz. So with this wind in my neck, I started research in vessel traffic and air traffic control. These traffic systems are based on radar. Without radar, it will not, no ship will be left from the harbor. However, there's a new topic coming in, and another traffic system. This is autonomous car radar systems. And all knowledge from air traffic control, vessel traffic control, could not be shifted to this new type of autonomous driving systems, car radar systems. So that was very promising, and 22 years ago I founded a company equipped with radar experts. And today this company has 120 or 130 employees and is an excellent company with very specialized topics. So worldwide leading in radar technique for for car traffic. So from a university professor point of view, it is important to have connections, cooperations, exchange bases, and exchange floor. And in my career, in my university career, I studied this autonomous driving, a car equipped with a radar for adaptive cruise control. And we drove this car in a normal traffic situation already 25 or 30 years ago. That was automotive radar. And another radar topic was HF, radar technique for tsunami detection. Anna is an expert in this field. Self-organized wireless networks, OFDM-based systems for telecommunications, DSL systems. You see, it is a mix of telecommunication aspects and radar aspects. And you organized this conference successfully, and I organized the International Radar Symposium. And you see here the map and the locations where the conference has been organized. And my good friend Boris attended this conference quite often, And I learned today that Boris is from this university. I didn't know that. So, yeah, and the party is important. So this is an international radar conference with 350 participants. And that is important that we have conferences like this in Europe and with an international basis, because if we are doing if we do not organize such conferences, our American friends will do it with pleasure. So we are in a competitional situation in this respect. So now let me briefly explain what happens with automotive radar. There are many different applications, and the first application is adaptive cruise control, lane change assistance, observing the traffic behind the car, blind automatic parking, blind spot detection. So there are many applications under development, and millions of pieces have been manufactured already and are in today's daily use. That is new for radar, because millions of pieces means production technique and so forth must be optimized. This is an example of an ACC application. The car is equipped with a radar in front, behind the front bumper, measuring the distance and the radial velocity of the traffic in front of us. Is going to overtake if the left lane is declared to be empty, and is coming to a next car which jumps into this lane and slow down the speed using the brake, not an emergency brake but a soft brake. And now we come to a traffic jam and the car comes to a stop based on radar information. And when the traffic goes on, the speed is increased and is followed here until the final traffic jam comes and the car is stopped. Just a second. Yeah, this is a different application. This is lane change assistant. The two radars behind the red rear bumper measuring the traffic in this area. Probably we can start it again. The information for the driver information is given in the rear mirror, the back mirror, and that is a clear indication to stop overtaking. Here you see it is flashing, the light is flashing a little bit, which means stop overtaking procedure, wait until the faster driving cars came by. So that is just an application to see what happens. What is the challenge of radar technique for automotive applications? First, the advantages are of importance because the radar has no problems with day and night illumination situation. No fog, no rain, no snow is a problem for radar, but for LiDAR and camera systems, it is a strong dependence on good weather conditions. The radar fulfills all weather conditions in the measurement, and it must be cheap. That is the most important point. To develop a radar on an expensive basis will not come to the market of automotive systems. So that is a real challenge, and the size is this way, and the price should be less than 100 euro. Today, the system of today's market are much cheaper than 100 euro at that time. From a technical point of view, there's a simple requirement, or two requirements. The range resolution should be less than 1 meter. So in radar topics, we have to distinguish with accuracy, measurement accuracy, and in this case the range accuracy will be in the centimeter domain, And accuracy always means I have a single target, and I measure the position of this target precisely. Resolution is always a different situation. I consider two targets. And the resolution means that the radar can distinguish between single and two-target situation, and for that reason the resolution is most important to have to distinguish between a single target and a two-target or multi-target situation. So range resolution is a technical challenge of 1 meter or less. It's not simple to become. And velocity resolution 0.5 meter per second. That is also very, very precisely measurement of radial velocity. Target range measurement for a stationary object based on pulse waveform or CW waveform. That was a big debate years ago, which kind of waveforms are proper for such an application. Both are feasible, pulse radars and continuous waveforms. Target range is measured by the propagation delay, and the important point is we do not measure time in the second domain, but in micro, nano, picosecond domain. So we have very precise in the time measurement. And the situation is as follows. The transmitter transmits a signal, is reflected by a point target. That is always the assumption that we consider point target situations, and the propagation delay is 2 times the target range divided by the speed of light. Human beings are not good in estimating target range. You see, due to our visual system, we can say a car is 50 or 60 or 100 meters apart, not more precise. If our eye system would be enlarged with our left eye here and the right eye here, then we can be very precise in measuring target range. However, then we will have trouble to entering a door and so forth. So it's better to leave this one and to give assistance to the driver by radar-based information. So this is a pulse radar, and when we require 1 meter range resolution, then this signal, this pulse signal basis should be less than 7 nanoseconds. 7 nanoseconds, that is an important requirement. And, by the way, we have to sample the incoming signals, the reflected signals, by 7 nanoseconds sampling rate, which means we need an AD converter of 150 megahertz. That is a question related to the price of a system. And by the way, we were talking about Shannon and sampling theorem. Do you know who the real inventor of sampling theorem is? That is a Russian guy, Vladimir Kotelnikov. He is the real inventor of sampling theorem, and not Shannon. Shannon was 16 years when Kotelnikov published his paper about sampling theorem. So, for that reason, it is a pulse radar proposal, and we have to distinguish between low PRF with an unambiguous measurement of target range, or medium and high PRF, because we have a problem of getting sufficient energy, sufficient power in our echo signals to have a good detection procedure. So that is what I jump over. And I will focus on pulse compression. Pulse compression motivation is given to increase the receive power to improve the target detection, because our echo signals are very low in signal power. We have to do some integration. And one point of integration for a pulse radar is pulse compression. So this is a typical pulse radar with a small base, 7 nanoseconds, and the match filter is applied, and we have a high range resolution but a low signal power situation. So we would like to increase the pulse length, have an increase in signal to noise ratio, better target detection, however no resolution in range. And there's a combination to have a long signal like this one, but transmitted in a coded waveform, in a coded way. And then we have applying a match filter, some small side lobes and a peak, and have a high signal to noise ratio and a high range resolution capability. So, and there's a beautiful story regarding Barker codes. Barker published in 1948 a paper where he announced the situation of good binary phase coded signals. Good means high peak power and low side lobes. And he published a few ones, less than 10 samples. And the largest length was 13, as in this example is shown. And he tried to find more good signals, but did not find any more. And then he expected that when computer technology is available, then we are doing a search, complete search program, and we'll find many of them. No. No more codes have been generated with the length, the largest length is 13, and no more codes are known for such an application. And when you would like to have a Nobel Prize, then start searching such binary phase coded signals, and when you have found it, then you are really a hero. But it is a pity that for extremely large lengths it is known that no Barker codes exist. However, after this border, there are some open issues. Yeah, that is binary phase coded signals, important topic. So here we have two good resolution and high signal to noise ratio. When we apply it to range measurement, you see in this 3 target situation we can distinguish between the 3 targets and can resolve it in range direction. This is pulse radar, and truly speaking, pulse radar can be compared in the computation complexity with OFDM-based radars, noise radars. There are several aspects, but the drawback is always a extremely large computation complexity, complicated to process. Not complicated from a scientific point of view, but from a cost point of view. If DSP, FPGAs have been used, it's a different situation. So, finally, CW radar waveform. This is a typical situation. The transmitted signal is increased in frequency over time, and the blue one is the echo signal. And we down-convert directly the echo signal, the blue signal, with the instantaneous transmit frequency and measure this beat frequency, this difference between transmit and receive. The signal which is coming out of this receiver can be easily processed by a small sampling rate and by Fourier transformation and get the target range information precisely and with a high range resolution property. So the technical challenge is to measure target range and Doppler frequency or radial velocity simultaneously, unambiguously, and that even in multiple target situations. That is a simple requirement list, however an important requirement list. And truly speaking, we feel that the CW radar is the right one because nature has developed over millions of years such a system. Bats, for bats. Bats are nearly blind. Right? Bats are nearly blind, do not see anything, and they have the same problem. They need a measurement technique with range and with radial velocity, otherwise it is always missing the fly when it would like to have a dinner, beautiful dinner tonight. Range and velocity measurement based on ultrasonic signals, and this is the most important point, that is frequency over time, and it is not a pure linear frequency, but nearly a linear frequency, which is going to use by the bats. So, and before I go into detail, I show you one example of a radar system. That is a complete radar system, and it is a dream for all radar engineers to have a system based on a single chip. And this is given here. A single chip has, or let me say, and multiple antenna. So MIMO, our friend presented just before, the MIMO system, we do it in radar in the same way. And the chip is processing 4 transmit and 3 receive channels, and it's all integrated into the single chip. That is a dream. And additional point, we were talking about target recognition, and that is integrated here, artificial intelligence. We do not measure only the target range and radial velocity for a point target. No, we would like to distinguish between different objects in automotive, between car, pedestrian, cyclists, trucks, and so forth. And that has a very, very high performance in target recognition. And that is all based on a single chip calculation. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is what I would like to explain you. And when we talk about autonomous driving, my personal impression is we need 10 years, 10 more years, then we have it. And these are the first steps based on radar. I'm quite often asked what is better, LiDAR or radar. My answer is always it depends. However, we need both. We need both, and future cars will be equipped with camera, with radar, with LiDAR sensors to have the property of a really autonomous driving situation. And we are on the way, directly on the way, and it is very, very interesting time because every day new ideas come into play, and the semiconductor technology, semiconductor companies are now coming into the play, and the single chip situation is just the result of the semiconductors. The semiconductor people are excellent people who can produce chips, but they are quite often not so experienced in radar systems. And we are experts in radar systems, but we are not so familiar how to use a chip. And this is a symbiotical situation. And like this same situation, like you have in your cooperation with Russia and with China. That is deeply impressed about this situation because that is the right way to cooperate and to share knowledge and to motivate people in this way to have to come to an excellent result. So with this in your mind, I thank you so much for coming, and please keep this in your mind. That is the future system, and that is what we need in much more MIMO systems, in much more artificial intelligence. This is just the beginning of a development which we can observe in the next 10 years time frame. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Do you have some questions? Yes, please.
Thank you for your speech. My name is Roman Kulikov. I'm from Moscow Power Engineering Institute. My question is...
Can you increase your voice by 3 dB?
My name is Roman Kulikov. I'm from Moscow Power Engineering Institute for Radio Engineering Faculty.
Okay, I have it.
My question is, have you any consideration, any work, any future fields of research with synthetic aperture?
Yes, for sure.
And what is the main challenge in this field, for your opinion, regarding to car radar?
Yeah, that depends which application you have in your mind. Synthetic aperture radar means I will have a high resolution. And where do I need a high resolution? When I have to drive very precisely. For example, it is used in parking situations. Does this answer your question?
The situation could be different. Parking is one situation, the safety, road safety by the side of road is the second situation, and it could not only this, the mutual positioning could be the situation. There are plenty of situations.
Yeah.
So, have you done some work in this, or it is just theoretical research?
No. Yeah, that is a good question. Thank you so much. First, only simulation, only theoretical. We need both. We need good analytical devices and practical experiences. All our research is based firstly on a theoretical point, and then we go with the theoretical results to an experiment. And never we talk about situations where we have no validation in the experimental case. So we have considered it, yes. That is what your
Thank you.
Okay, so more questions?
Yes.
Please.
My name is Igor Sidorov, Vega Corporation, Moscow.
Yes.
Your report was devoted to two topics, historical review and some problems.
Yes.
For historical review, one question.
Yes.
Why didn't you arrange the portrait of Nikola Tesla around the founders of radio communications?
Yes, that is a good point. Could be added, yes.
I think that he makes significant contribution.
I agree absolutely and immediately to you, but I can enlarge the list much more. Yeah,
and my second and third question for technical problems.
Yeah.
All your pictures.
I do not talk about problems. I have a problem when I have trouble with my wife.
But
I'm talking here about challenges.
In Russian translation, technical problems.
Yeah, that is probably. Okay, but forgive me.
About problems.
Yeah.
All your pictures about automotive radars were made for a straight line of the highway, of the road. And let's assume that we have a road in the mountains where we have only right or left turns or changes altitude.
Yeah, that is a good topic, because that is related to the tracking procedure. So we measure precisely the azimuth angle and elevation angle and give this information to the tracking procedure. The tracker knows if it is in a curved situation or in a straight line situation. Yes, you are right. Yeah. But this is on a high performance level done. Otherwise, we will have problems.
And last question about the medicine problem. We have, all of us, we have cell phones. It's a source of radio emission.
Yes.
We have a lot of radio-based stations around us. We have a lot of level of radio emission. And if we will equip all the cars by radars, what will be on the road? I think that it will be dangerous for our health, for drivers, for workers.
You assume that a big disaster will happen. I'm very relaxed in this case, because the interference situation, especially in the field when I use FMCW radars, continuous wave radars, is much more relaxed. There's a very small probability that two radars are on the same track, and it is not a synchronized situation. A radar must not be synchronized like mobile communication, so the bandwidth, the full bandwidth is randomly the same in two different cars. Very, very rarely.
I mentioned about influence of radio emission for human body.
Ah, so. Yeah, that is biological effect.
Biological effect, yes.
Yeah, that is true. That is an important topic. However, our transmit power is very low. That is just one argument. It is
for one car, and if the cars on the road will be many.
Yeah, that is an important topic. We should not escape.
I think that it's a serious problem.
Yeah. No, due to the small power, the transmit power, and a certain distance, it is not a problem.
But this power can be a sum of many cars.
Yeah, but the range is small, and the car which is here and another car is there.
Okay, I suggest that you discuss after that. We need to follow.
Yes.
We are out of the schedule, so please. No, we have one more presentation, so please keep. I understand that everybody wants to eat and we have lunch.
Yes.
We're already out of the schedule.
But
so
I didn't use more than 12.
No, it's fine. So thank you very much for your presentation. So we have one more presentation. Here is a Professor Chan Guang Pan from Tsinghua University. So please. So please be patient, wait, and we will go to lunch after that.
Hello. Maybe I should say good afternoon. So I'm last one, so I try to speed up and as soon as possible, so we can catch the lunchtime. I'm Professor Pan from Tsinghua University. Today I will introduce some information about the latest technology and application of terrestrial digital TV. Can I use this one?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. As you know, I think in everybody's home you have a TV. And now TV are becoming bigger and bigger. It's really true that the bigger TV, the better. Now in China, some now in most home people buy 65-inch TV, and now it's a good idea to buy TV with more than 100-inch. Well, may I say no, not the bigger the better, because in our home, in everybody's home, the distance between the sofa to your TV is limited, and now in currently situations, the TV is too bigger, you will not enjoy the benefit. This is why, because there's a concept called resolutions. The definition now in the TV, in many years ago, we are using a standard definition TV, and now in most countries, high definition movie are becoming popular and popular. Sometimes we call this 2K. It means 1920s. We call it 2K, and now in most commercial products, the movie is 2K definitions. And if you want to, if you want to use bigger TV, enjoy the bigger TV, we say you need something exactly new. We call it the 4K and 8K, and it is called ultra high definition TV. With this new ultra high definition TV, you will find your TV is much better. And there is a research, and it shows if the distance between the sofa to TV is limited, and if the TV size and the picture quality you see is have some relations. And from this here it say if your distance from your sofa to a TV is 2.4 meters, if your TV here is more than 65 inch, 2K is not good. You will not find the benefit with the big TV. So if you want to enjoy, you need this ultra high definition, 4K and 8K. And also why we say we need ultra high definition, because with the frame rate. Traditionally, the frame rate of the movie is 25 frames per second, and when we see something is moving very quicker, for example, football games, you will find the picture is not so good. So with the ultra high definition, we will have a high frame rate. It will make you see the movie much more clear. About ultra high definition, it is start to be used several years ago. In 2013, the 4K start to prototype. Then in 2014, in the FIFA World Cup in Brazil, it start to be commercial use. And also about the 4K ultra high definition, it's now still trial around the world. It's trialed in Japan, in Brazil, and we are now also trying this for 8K broadcasting. And in I2, there's several recommendations related to this ultra high definitions. It defines the sound, the system parameters, and also the presentation. And there in the I2 there is a report called 2343. This report collects all the information around the world, around the different country, different company who are doing the ultra high definition TV field trial. It's based on the terrestrial digital broadcasting. This is the report from ITR, and you can download it freely on internet. And it is firstly initialized by the EBU in 2014. And in this report, it includes a lot of information about the parameters and the resolution, bit rate, payload, modulation technology about the trial around the world. Well, I will introduce the first 8K trial in Japan. It started in 2014. It's a trial in a small island in the south of Japan, and they're using 4,096 QM. It is a very, very high order constellations and in order to translate as high as possible bitrate, they're using dual polarized 2x2 MIMOs. It is almost double the payload data rate. Why they're using so high payload data rate, and why they trial in this very small island? It's because with the you will find the payload data rate here is 91.8 megabit per second. It's very, very high than currently our using in every life. For example, now for 2K high definition programs in our home, it's around 10 to 12 megabits per second, it's okay. But here, it's nearly 92 megabits per second. Why they trial the system here? Because it's in a small island. Then nearby, there are very few interference. And they also set up their transmission station on a very high mountain. And all the receiver side is on the ground and have a line of sight view to the transmitters. Here, around almost 600 meters above the sea level, and here it's around the receiver only around 200 meters around sea level. So it's a line of sight views, and using 32K FFT and 4096 it's very, very high orders, and they're using 2x2 MIMOs. This is some diagrams. A picture is a transmission antenna and a receiver antennas. This antenna very, very, very strange. I will introduce later. It's also be used in our 8K trial. And about during the trial, they're using very, very, very low power. So why with so low power? Is because with the 4096 QM, the linear of the amplifier is very, very important. So in order to have a very linear properties, so they're using very, very low powers. Sorry. Here, when you can see during the trial, they raise the antenna very high, around 10 meters above the ground. So it's higher than the roof of the building, so it can have line of sight view. So after the trial, they find most of this test site can be received, but during the trial, we also find some interesting things. One is here, this X is a distance. Even in some test point very close to the transmitter site, the field strength is not high enough. We think it's limited by the pattern of the transmission antenna. And after we review all these field points, we think the field strength of the field strength is very important to the receivers. We also from the report find from the 256 QAM to 1024 QAM, the required field strength increased about 5 dB. Then from 1K to 4K QM, the field strength also increased 5 dB microwatt, 5 dB. So from here we know if we want to translate more bit rate with high order QAM, we need much more power. From here to here, 10 dB. That means 10 watt to 100 watt. It's a very big increase. And also, Brazil and Japan tried the 8K broadcasting in the Olympic Games in 2016. Originally, of the 8K picture, the bitrate around 24 gigabytes per second. It's very, very high speed. Then with a compress, with HEVC, it's compressed to 85 megabits per second. Then with wireless terrestrial broadcasting system, which delivered to the end users. They are in here in Brazil. We can find the trial. The transmission antenna is still very high. It's from this picture we find this is the mountain of transmission antenna. Here is the receiver. So you can find almost very line of sight receiving. And the 8K can be displayed in the cinema with very, very big screen, something much bigger than this one. And in Asia, the Korea start to the ultra high definition test in 2014. It's in the Asian Games. Then in 2016 and 2017, they start to trial the ultra high definition broadcasting with ATSC systems, and the trial for a long time. And after the trial, also they have a living broadcasting during the freestyle skating in Korea. It's in 2016. And after the trial, everybody can agree, yeah, 4K is much bigger than 2K HD. 4K UHD is much better than 2K HD. You can see much better. You can have a much better feeling with the picture. And now, around the world, people are moving to 8K. Japan announced in 2020 Olympic Games they decide to broadcasting the game with 8K, and also in China, in the coming Winter Olympic Games, we are also using broadcasting in 8K. The 8K has a very high payload rate. It's around 80 to 90 megabits per second, but you can see the picture, the better picture and better video in much bigger screen. And the challenge for us to 2K to 8K and 4K and 8K, we think we have several challenges. Firstly, if we want to get a very good feeling with the 4K and 8K, you must have a much bigger TV. If your TV is size is less than 55 inch, I think 2K is okay. But if you want to have a better feeling, maybe 100-inch TV is a good idea. And also the bitrate. With the 4K programs, the bitrate is around 35 megabits per second, and the 8K is around 85 megabits per second. That means it's much bigger than currently 2K. And the content production. And we discussed with several TV stations, for example, CCTV in China. They think CCTV is the best TV station in China. They think they currently facility cannot support the 4K and 8K production because the transmission, the bandwidth, the synchronization equipment, the storage equipment are not big enough. Then about storage, as I mentioned, with the 4K to currently 2K, the bitrate increased about I think 8 times, 7 to 8 times. That means if you storage 2K programs 1 hour, you can storage 8K programs only maybe no less than 10 minutes. It's a big problem. And 8K require much high payload data rate, and it's very difficult to use existing terrestrial broadcasting facilities, and it can be demoed and also or maybe pioneer networks. And 4K ultra high definition TV is more suitable for our everyday use, for commercial use, and this is why now this 4K UHD is deployed in several countries. And in order to support 8K transmission in terrestrial broadcasting, we find several solutions. The Japanese colleagues, they think they can use in very high order modulation, for example, 4K quamps. And but we think we can use it using the channel bonding or something multiplex the frequency used in terrestrial delivery. And but if we're using the channel bonding, that means we need more bandwidth. But currently in the radio in radio's frequency, it's very limited. You can find it's occupied almost every hertz. It's and the problem. Another problem is with the development of mobile communications. We need more and more bandwidth. In USA, the FCC asked the TV broadcaster to give up more than 100 of bandwidth. 100 hertz of megahertz bandwidth. That means the bandwidth we have this and this. So how can we deliver the ultra high definition programs on the limited bandwidth? So we need a new system with higher bitrate, and we can support high picture resolutions, and high. Also, we are very more robust compared with existing the first generation digital TV system. That is called the second generation digital TV system. The second generation digital TV is defined in the ITR BT 1877. It's now include three systems: the European DVT2, the US ATSC 3.0, and the Chinese DTNB-A. And I limited by time, I don't expand to introduce the technology of this system. I will give you some, share some information about what we are trial about UHD TV in China. And in 2008, in December, we trialed 4K UHD TV in the middle of China, in the Jiaxing. We are using the DTNB-A systems, and the payload rate is around 39 megabits per second. 4K and compressed technology with H.265. This is living receivers when we test. This is a transmission tower we used. It's around 150 meters above the ground, and the antenna is almost in the top of this tower. And this transmitter we broadcast with a 1,000 watt. And we trialed in this around this transmitter. The fast distance here is around 40 kilometers. This is almost similar to currently existing 2K HD transmission. This is limited because the Earth has a curve. When it's far, the Earth's curve will limit the transmission of the radio signals. And we also try to receive a signal indoor. And with this very simple antenna in the downtown, we can receive this 4K UHD TV signals. And also we tried in the open field. It is nearby the lake. You can see it's in the road, in countryside, and it's nearby a hotel, and all the receiver is quite good. And we also tried the UHD-TV single frequency network in Hong Kong. My colleague, Professor Wang, he will introduce very detail about these trials. It's very interesting, and we find UHD TV can be delivered very satisfied in existing facilities. And we want to deliver the 4K, but we are limited with radio frequencies resource. So we have an idea to using the signal channel to deliver 4K, and we have a solutions idea with antenna. We have two horizontal or vertical, two kinds. And so we have idea to combine these two antenna into one antennas. It's how with this vertical and horizontal with two patterns, we deliver two separate streams. And on the receiver side, we combined the two streams, and we have a 4K decoder. We already tried this in our university. I think my colleague, Professor Song, he will introduce very detail about this test. And we are still working on it, and maybe I think in next year in Moscow, we'll have a presentation and introduce very details of what we done and what's the result. And with currently process, we think with this schedule, with this schemes, we can support the 4K, we can support 8K ultra high definition programs in one RF channel. That's very useful because normally if you using new technology in traditionally one RF bandwidth, it's okay. But if you want to use 2 RF channel, it will be a little difficult, very, very difficult. So we are working on it. Maybe if it's very successful, we'll try to promote in the Beijing Olympic Winter Games. And I think in the future, we think 4K will be very, very popular. Actually, now in China, when you buy the TV bigger than 55 inches, all the TV receiver, almost all the TV receiver, they claims our panel can support 4K display. So I think in future 4K will be very, very popular. But the 8K, we think maybe in some professional situations we will use this 4K. In people's home, it's a little difficult because the distance from the viewer to TV and also the content is limited. It cannot be very popular in very short times. And from 2K to 4K, the content production is a challenge. From 4K to 8K, it's a very big challenge. So it is not very easy for your everyday news to be produced in the 4K. And some people may say, well, we buy a camera. It say even cell phone support 4K, 8K. Yeah, why can we not use in our TV? It's not very difficult. Please, my friend, your cell phone claim you support 4K. It's not a professional applications. For the TV station, when they claim we support 4K, they are very critical. Their content quality is much, much better than our cell phones. And also, I think in the coming future, you must need a cloud storage because your movie, your picture is bigger and bigger. So you need a bigger high HD hard disk. And with new technologies and high resolutions, I believe you will have a better feeling and you will enjoy the very clear, very detailed picture and the movie. You will see after see the movie, you will think you are next to the display. I remember when first time I see 4K content called the Beijing Duck, and a lady, a chef cutting the duck for a lady, and you see the oil split from the skin of the duck. It's really very, very nice. So, my friend, I think in the very shortly coming future, you will enjoy the ultra high definition movies in your home. Thank you.
Okay, some questions? Oh, please.
When you consider the high constellation diagrams and think about mobility, what about the challenge of channel estimation procedure?
Well, you're right. Yeah, with high order constellation, the mobile is very critical. And when we design the new DTMA system, we are using very special training sequence on the frame head. With this special design frame head, we can increase our mobility performance better. But with higher order constellation, the mobility performance will drop. It's true, it will be dropped. So no matter our trial and also the trial around the world, when they support very high payload data rate, high bit rate, they are also using stationary reception. they are using the Yagi antenna in order to avoid the Doppler, avoid some interference. So that is a balance. You need a high bit rate, your deliver environment will be good. That's it. But we are working on to make it better and better. And I think this is similar to everything. You want this thing better and something limited, and we have a new technology, and we increase. It's changing.
Okay, more questions?
So I think you lunch times.
No,
maybe
no,
you can discuss with me during
okay.
lunch times.
Let's thank you again for our speaker. So I have announcement important. The organizer of the conference was very kind to increase the time. So we shift everything in 1 hour. So we have lunch up to the not 2:30, 3:30.